Hello everyone, it's Joe Casadonti, Casadonti Homes. I'm making a video that I've had some experience with this particular thing and never made a video about it. I'm going to call this video, It's Probably Just a Cold. But when we build new construction here, if you've seen some of my videos, I do everything that I can to keep everything drained off the foundation as much as possible, anything to do to avoid a wet basement. We do an exterior perimeter drain, and we put about 2 foot of stone. There's a pipe in the midst of it all, and it's wrapped in a fabric that keeps the dirt off the perforated pipe and drains. Everything gets wrapped around, goes into the sump pump, back into the house, into the sump pump, and then gets pumped out. There's a interior perimeter drain as well, like right along in here, underneath this concrete, all the way around the foundation, goes over to the sump pump and to the sump hole in the sump pit, and that gets pumped out. In this particular case, we have 2 sump pits. It's a larger basement, so I try to be safe. I do 2. So we do everything. And on the exterior, we use a foundation waterproofing that, something like a rubber wall or a similar product that's really, really good. And we take much care in all of this, but sometimes what happens when you're right around that drywall stage in a house, house has been backfilled, we're constructing, we're building, we're framing, we're doing this, doing that. We backfill some more and we keep the outside nice, but it's not properly graded yet. There's no gutters on the house. There's a roof on it. There's no gutters. The grading's not done. The rough grading's not even done. Systems are going in, like septic systems and wells, and ditches are being dug to the house and then covered, and then they settle, and this goes on. And at some point, when it rains, you'll see like this moisture on the wall here. You see how the bottom of the concrete will get wet about 2 feet up, and then it'll wick into these seams, and the proportion, the partitioned part of the wall. That's something that I've seen a lot, not all the time, but I see it, and it stays like this until everything is properly backfilled, properly graded, all the storm, all the stormwater system stuff's in. Pipes are in, taking all the gutters away. All the gutters are up and all the water, is being pulled away from the house. And even after the house is done, if we have a rainy season, this will pop up. And it'll do that for a while, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, and then it'll start to clear up. Not all the time, but sometimes. And my theory is that over the years, my theory has become, with, everything down at the bottom, 2 feet of stone and piping and drainage system that we put in, all this has to compact. The dirt has to compact. The dirt has to filter through the stone and really compact around it. And eventually it creates a system where this spot, this bottom spot in the basement is also just not wet. And that's the best, the best case scenario. A scenario like this where we see it, it might be 6, 8 months, 10 months, but it goes away. Eventually it goes away. But it's worrisome, and people worry, they get concerned. So I made a little video here to show this is a scenario where we have this, and this house actually has a gravity drain. So in this corner, not only do we have all the piping going from the exterior and interior into this sump pit hole and then draining out, we also have a gravity drain. So from this pit out away from the house, you can't do this in every case, but in this case the property falls away enough to where there's a daylight drain leaving the house about 60, 80 feet from here. It hits daylight and it's below the concrete first floor level. It's below the footing level. So all this water is, no matter what, no matter how hard it rains, the water goes into the pit, it goes out, and this floor can never get wet, unless somebody stuffed that up and then ran a hose in the basement for a couple of days. But all that said, this should be a scenario where, you wouldn't see any water. And again, this isn't something to get really too worried about, especially the first few months into a house. So, I liken it to the fact that, I liken it to something like this. If you went to, if you got up one day and you were coughing, and then you got up the next day and you're still coughing a little bit, and you go to the doctor and you say, "Doctor, I've been coughing for 2 days. I have cancer. I have lung cancer." And he looks at you and he says, "Well, I'm not quite sure. I'm not ready to open you up yet. I think it might be a flu, cold, something. Maybe you should wait. We'll wait about 10 days, see if it clears up." And then you say, "Well, I don't want to wait 10 days. I don't want to be coughing on day 4 or 5. I just don't want that." Well, most likely you're going to have to wait about 10 days before you start thinking it's cancer. So, something like this could look scary, but honestly, it might just be a cold. So, you have to wait 6 or 8 months and see if it dries up. And again, as many years as I've been doing this, anytime I've seen this, it's always dried up within the first year. So there you go. Not too much, I didn't give you too much of a scientific answer, but I think you get it. All right, have a good day.